You've probably met one before, that person who walks into a room and suddenly everything shifts. People start paying attention, their words carry weight, and their presence commands the space. They seem confident, calm, and untouchable. You can feel their control, their precision, their ability to read others without revealing much of themselves. And somehow people trust them. They follow their lead. But behind that polished surface, there's something missing. A certain coldness, an emptiness. They can read your emotions but never truly feel them. They know exactly what to say to make you like them, exactly how to appear sincere without actually being so. And yet the world seems to reward them. They rise higher. They win more. They get what others deserve. Why? Why does society, for all its admiration of kindness, empathy, and honesty, keep placing power in the hands of people who lack those very traits? Is the problem with them or with the world that keeps choosing them? Psychologists have been studying this for decades. In 2010, a study from Oxford University revealed something astonishing. Roughly 1 out of every 100 people meets the criteria for psychopathy, but among corporate executives, that number jumps to 4 out of 100, and in some industries like finance and politics, it can reach up to 12. The higher you climb, the colder it gets. These are people who often lack empathy and guilt, but excel in confidence, charisma, and control. They are charming, persuasive, fearless, and often completely detached from emotion. But why are these traits rewarded? To understand that, we have to go back, not just centuries, but thousands of years. Imagine early humans living in harsh, unpredictable environments. Food was scarce. Droughts, predators, and rival tribes were constant threats. In this world, the one who hesitated, who spent time considering fairness or kindness, didn't survive. The one who acted decisively, who took what they needed, lived another day. Nature never cared about morality. It only cared about survival. Psychologists call this idea adaptive psychopathy. Traits like fearlessness, charm, and emotional detachment may have evolved because they helped certain individuals survive and reproduce. Those who could manipulate, those who could stay calm under danger, those who didn't freeze when others panicked, became leaders, hunters, protectors. The ruthless weren't always villains. Sometimes they were heroes. Evolution doesn't ask what's right, it asks what works. But as humanity evolved, the world changed faster than our instincts did. Villages turned into cities, empires replaced tribes, and in this new world of systems, institutions, and hierarchies, the same traits that once protected the tribe started shaping civilization itself. Empathy, once the glue of small communities, became less visible in large systems. You no longer needed to look your victims in the eyes. The consequences of cruelty became abstract. The distance between action and impact grew. Today, that distance is enormous. We live in a world built on layers of abstraction. We vote for leaders we'll never meet. We work for corporations we'll never see. We consume products made by hands we'll never know. And in that distance, empathy dissolves. The more complex the system, the less we feel connected to the human consequences of our choices. And so, we built systems that reward not goodness, but efficiency. Economists call this an incentive structure, but it's more accurate to call it a moral algorithm. It doesn't care about kindness or cruelty. It only cares about outcomes. If ruthlessness achieves results, the system will reward ruthlessness. If empathy slows performance, the system will punish empathy. This is how traits once considered dangerous became signs of leadership. Confidence replaces compassion. Fearlessness replaces conscience. Manipulation disguises itself as strategy. In many ways, our world doesn't just tolerate psychopathy, it cultivates it. In 2008, psychologist Paul Babiak studied corporate managers with psychopathic tendencies. He found that many of them weren't cold or antisocial. Quite the opposite, they were charismatic and magnetic. They used mimicry, copying people's tone, gestures, and emotions to create the illusion of empathy. They didn't feel it, but they knew how to fake it. It's like a mirror reflecting your emotions back at you, but with nothing behind the glass. That's why these people often seem so familiar. They make you feel understood. They build quick trust, but what you're connecting to isn't them. It's yourself. And once you trust them, they can control you. Now imagine a real situation. A workplace. 2 employees are up for promotion. One is humble, loyal, deeply empathetic. She helps others quietly, never asks for credit. The other is confident, persuasive, bold. He talks about his achievements and knows how to look like a leader. When something goes wrong, he always has someone else to blame. Who gets promoted? The system rewards the visible, not the virtuous. Confidence looks like competence. Charm looks like leadership. And over time, even good people learn to imitate the ruthless, just to survive. That's how corruption spreads. Not through evil, but through adaptation. Psychologists call this the social contagion of power. When a system rewards a certain behavior, others learn to copy it. Soon, ruthlessness becomes normal. And eventually, we forget that it's even ruthless. We start calling it ambition. We call manipulation strategy. We call coldness professionalism. But not all who have psychopathic traits become villains. Neuroscientist James Fallon discovered something incredible. While researching the brains of criminals, he accidentally found that his own brain scan matched that of a psychopath. But Fallon wasn't violent. He was a respected scientist, husband, and father. So what made the difference? He realized that psychopathy isn't destiny. It's potential. A set of traits that can be destructive or productive depending on the environment. A psychopath in a violent home might become a killer. In a stable, loving one, he might become a surgeon, a soldier, a negotiator. The same emotional detachment that makes cruelty possible can also make calm leadership under pressure possible. These traits aren't evil by nature. They're tools. And the system decides whether those tools heal or harm. Think about politics, Wall Street, or Silicon Valley. All 3 reward confidence, boldness, and decisiveness under pressure. The soft-spoken voices of reason get buried under the noise. Integrity takes time. Deception moves faster. And in a world obsessed with results, speed wins. Empathy becomes a luxury. But here's the truth. Evolution doesn't stop. The world changes. And with it, so does the kind of mind that thrives. Maybe the next stage of human evolution isn't about eliminating the ruthless, but integrating them, understanding them, learning to build systems that don't reward manipulation, but transparency, where power requires accountability, where success depends on cooperation, not domination. Imagine if leadership was measured not by how much you control, but by how much trust you create. Imagine if companies grew not by exploiting weakness, but by strengthening people. Imagine if the same traits that once made survival possible now made empathy scalable. In a world like that, the psychopath loses their advantage, because in a world built on connection, coldness becomes a handicap. The real danger isn't just the psychopath, it's our admiration for them. We idolize certainty more than truth. We follow confidence more than kindness. We're drawn to those who act like they know, because we're tired of doubt. And so, the ruthless rise, not just by manipulation but by the quiet permission of our admiration. But history is clear. Empires built on fear always fall. Tyrants are worshipped, then forgotten. Power without empathy is efficient, but never sustainable, because control always collapses under its own emptiness. The systems they build are strong, but hollow. And hollow things, no matter how powerful, eventually break. Maybe the answer isn't to fight the dark, but to see it clearly, to understand the game so deeply that you stop playing it unconsciously. Because once you see the patterns, you begin to choose differently. You start to question who you admire, who you follow, and what you reward. And that choice, repeated enough times, rewires the entire system. So tonight, let's make a quiet vow. Curiosity over certainty, compassion over control, awareness over admiration, because the world will always have wolves. The question is, will we keep feeding them?